Hello everyone. So I got a busy week ahead of me. So the next 3 days I'm going to be in and out of hospitals and dealing with a bunch of getting old crap, and so yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm going to be a pincushion for a little while, and then I'm getting a lot of work done. Unfortunately, none of it in my mouth. That sounded really bad. I apologize, but none of it's going to be dental work. There you go. I'll say that. I am talking with a couple of dentists, and I'm actually going on Groupon to print out a coupon where I get a free exam and x-rays, and then once I get that, I called them up and I said, hey, you know, if I get this, can I take the x-rays so other people can see them? And they said, yeah, and I got to do a $10 printing fee. And I was like, I'll pay $10 to keep from getting multiple x-rays in my mouth. My truck is leaking really bad. Oh well. It's one of the things on the list this month to fix. I have kind of given up on the whole trying to sell stuff online, between, you know, trying to get some things taken care of with me and helping out people and just trying to get stuff done. It's ended up taking on a lot more than I thought I could. So I'm not giving up on it in its entirety, but I've just figured, you know what, I got a month off. Let me take care of all this stuff that I need to take care of. One of them mainly being fixing this truck, and you know, just stuff that takes like, you know, half a day to a full day of just, you know, cutting grass, cleaning up my yard, and just doing a bunch of stuff, which I've done a lot. You know, I cleaned up the whole back of the shop, built some custom doors for one of my box trucks. You know, plus Friday we may be taking a road trip. I won't know. In fact, I don't even know what today is. I think today is Monday, or yeah, I think it's Monday. But I gotta go check for an email, and I might be driving down to the west coast of Florida for a business deal, and just see what that's about. A friend of mine from a long time ago, they're auctioneers, and they take down grocery stores all over the United States, and when a grocery store goes out of business, they're the ones that go and kind of go inside, clean it all out, take all the freezers down, take everything out of it, so that they can, you know, empty it out and re-rent the building. And they called me up and they says, hey, are you still, you know, buying? I says, well, it depends on what you're selling. And he told me what he has. I was like, all right, I'm in, you know. So the only thing is, I don't know if I can go on the property early, which they let me before in the past. So, but I'm going to see what that's about. So, and I kind of want to talk to you guys about something that's been rolling around up here for a while, and it's, I don't say this lightly, and what I'm about to talk about is a lot of people would consider controversial. Now, for those of you who know me in person, for those of you who know me, you know, for more than the year I've been on YouTube, you know, I put a lot of stock into what I talk about, especially when I say, okay, I'm about to get serious. So I have been studying my entire life on, you know, like ancient civilizations, different religions, of not necessarily the gospel of the religion, but, you know, the creation stories and where we come from, and the stories that, you know, would be considered mythology, or, you know, hallucinations, or whatever you want to call it. I look at that and, you know, I say, okay, well, these people took the time to write this, and, you know, for generations, these are stories that have been told through multiple religions, through multiple groups of people, you know, and you start to, you know, start having a little, like for me, I see patterns and things. So, it kind of got to a point where I'm starting to see the same things in different religions and a lot of connections, and I really got into this one person that does seminars and does classes on fallen civilizations. They actually they look at what caused a civilization to fall, like the Mayans, the Incans, the Mesopotamians, there's so many different great, powerful nations throughout the history of time, and they've all fallen. And the one thing that I've kind of accumulated, and I don't want to try to get into it because it would take hours to sit down and say, here's Exhibit A, here's Exhibit B. But, you just have to trust me that I see a pattern of what made civilizations fall. The Romans, the Greeks, the Turks, you got all these civilizations that were world dominating at that time, and what caused them to fail was some by war, some by famine, but a lot of them was through internal struggle and internal turmoil. And it got me thinking, because I was sitting there one day, I was making notes and everything, and I'm sitting there like, well, we're doing that right now, check, and here's another thing, oh, we're doing that too, check, and it got me thinking, is this the end of America? And I'm, whether you're on the left, the right, don't give a shit, whatever, we all know something's wrong. We all see something that just is broken, and me personally, I don't see anybody, and it's not going to be one person that fixes it, and I don't think we can get a group of people to fix it. I just, well, there's one person, but he's way up there, and it depends on which one you believe in. But I'm wondering if this is the end of the United States of America. And I'm not trying to speak doom and gloom. I just honest intellectual assessment of what's happening to us by us. It was Abraham Lincoln that made a comment that that we as a nation are so strong that the only way we can fail is if we turn on ourselves. And I think it was Abraham Lincoln, or it might have been George Washington. It was one of the big presidents, but he made a statement, saying, hey, there is no body that can come ashore and defeat us, that can go from the Atlantic Ocean across the Appalachians. I think this is before, so it might have been George Washington, but he made a comment about that no group of people can come across and take us out. We are the only ones who can hurt ourselves. So, and there is a lot of just craziness going on. Some of it is by design, some of it is accidental. And both sides are playing a game that should not be played with American lives. It's to a point now to where I've gotten so sick of both sides because of, the rhetoric and the he said, she said, and everything else. But, it's just gotten to a point to where I'm sitting here thinking, is this the last days, or the last years of America? And by the way, right now in Jacksonville, there is a huge presence of police, firefighters, ambulances. There's power outage in multiple intersections. I don't know if that was a cop. No, that's not a cop. More ambulance. They're all over the place. But anyways, and maybe it's the bad weather and the doom and gloom of not doom and gloom, but the gloominess of, today is what kind of maybe put this out there, And again, these are of the things that I honestly hope that I am wrong. You know, I would love to see America succeed and, you know, and continue on with prosperity. But I'm looking at the facts. I'm looking at what I see in front of me and making an honest assessment. In fact, I was talking with this one guy up at where I get my insurance from. I'm not going to name him, but if he's watching, he knows who he is. And you know, and I was talking to him about a certain type of woman, and he was cracking up laughing. I'm like, I'm serious. I was like, I honestly stopping here looking at, wow, how the mighty have fallen. I just drove by a guy I knew, Sam. I drove by his houses. God, it looks destroyed. Anyways, but I was talking to him about a particular type of woman, you know, because we was talking about a bunch of different stuff. And, you know, when guys get together, we talk about, you know, sports, fishing, and women. And, you know, and I don't really know much about sports or fishing. So, but I asked him an honest intellectual question about a certain type of woman, and he busted out laughing. Because he's like, how could you even say that? I was like, I'm not saying anything negative. I'm not saying anything bad. But there's a particular type of woman that works at a particular establishment, and I was curious on how they developed a certain type of body characteristic of that thing. And, you know, he couldn't believe that. I was like, it's not about, he couldn't believe that I asked the question. And I was like, it's not about anything. I just have an honest curiosity, and I would like to know how this happens, you know. So, and that's a lot of these things for me is honest curiosity. I'm a very curious person. I am, you know, what the hell? I'm sorry to get distracted here, but I'm driving through a neighborhood I haven't driven through a very long time, and nothing looks the same. I'm driving through a neighborhood called Sin City, which is low income, well, it used to be a low income white neighborhood. Now it's kind of everybody. And, you know, this is one of them places that it's so poor that people can't afford guns. So this is the highest rate, I think this is like one of the highest rates of stabbings in a particular neighborhood. And I don't know if it's all of Jacksonville, but I know at least on this side of the bridge, there's more stabbings per square mile in this neighborhood than any other neighborhood, at least on this side of the bridge. West side has some areas like this too. Anyways, I'm getting off track, but you know, a lot of the things that I talk about are a lot of things that I sit here and study and research. You know, it's honest to God curiosity, because I just want to know how things happen and how things work, and make sure people stop at stop signs. But it's something that I've always done. You know, I mean, when I was a kid, I read the whole freaking encyclopedia. You know, I sit here and, you know, in sixth grade, I sat in the back of the library and just read books, because if I went anywhere else, I'd get my ass kicked. Yeah. There's a house up here I actually tried buying one time. It was a massive fail. It's one of the biggest houses back here. But it's, yeah. I actually dated quite a few women back here when I was in high school. I won't say dated, but I knew them very well, let's put it that way. Anyways, I'm starting to ramble a little bit, and, you know, I'm just not wanting to drive home right now, and figured since I'm talking to you guys, I'd kind of drive through an old neighborhood that I used to frequent in high school, and my family actually lived in, well, parts of my family actually lived in a multitude of different homes where they, you know, rent a house and get evicted, and they'd go rent a trailer and get evicted, and they go rent a house and get evicted, and then move in with somebody and they get evicted. And yeah, I do not come from substantial upbringings, but I had a good upbringing, you know. Anyways, house actually still looks good. Let's see if I can. That gray house right there. Oh, and you fell off my stand here. So anyways, that kind of solidifies it for me. But anyways, hopefully everybody had a good Easter, and don't let some of the things that I say get you down. If anything, it should inspire you to hopefully save this country a little bit. But on that note, peace, love, money. I'm out.